Tips for getting into Lotus. So my first tip is to be super patient here because your knees are really important and you want them to be
really important.
Yeah, like you got to use them for so many other things, not, outside of your yoga practice. So you want to take really good care of them. So yeah, double patient. Nope. And if it's not available, so Holly's pretty open, so not everyone can do this, but if somebody couldn't do it, we would maybe use some blocks and put a block here, and then she could rest the knee on a block. And so don't let the knee float. Use a block or a blanket so that it's supported. And I like to have people start by reaching forward and doing a little bit of a forward bend. So however far you can go. Look how Holly's keeping her feet flexed, keeps them active. And so you would spend some time here, but it would be a very boring video. So Holly's not gonna get to spend much time here. But I also have people reach over to the left side. And so that feels a little bit different for the hips. And you would spend an equal amount of time on the left side as you did reaching forward, and then to the right side also. Happy? Very concerned with his feet. Nice. And then switch your legs. So you want to do the other leg also. You might notice a difference in the sides.
This side's easier.
Excellent. Remember, use blocks if you need them, and then reach forward to the right and to the left. And Holly's doing an abbreviated version. You would probably want to spend a lot more time here than she did, but that's great. And then from here, you would I would usually just have somebody work on coming into a half lotus. So whichever leg you want to do, you're going to keep one leg, even both legs are bent, even the one that you're not trying to take into half lotus right now. And then this knee is closed, and look how Holly it's totally closed, and that keeps it safe. And then look how she's catching the underside of her foot here. And so what that does is that externally rotates the shin bone. Now we already know that the femur bone's externally rotated. That's how it gets into this position. It has to turn out. But this one's now turning out too by catching the bottom of the underside of her foot versus the top side.
Right.
And if both of these are externally rotated, it usually creates a little bit more space along the knee joint. It makes it more comfortable. So that's how you go into it is really important, because if you were internally rotating here, you might feel more of a pinch through it there. And then, so she's basically in a half lotus now. Perfect.
I always think of my heel coming to my navel too.
Heel to navel, yeah. I mean, that's really good. And she could also, if needed, support this knee with a block underneath it. I mean, she doesn't need that here. And then I would have her do the same thing on the other side. So I would take the left foot out of half lotus and try that same thing with the right leg going into half lotus. Knee joint closes. She's pulling from the underside of her foot to externally rotate and create space through here. Again, just look how nice and open close the knee joint is. And that's important because it means that she's moving from the hip. And so if the knee was open and she was pulling her shin bone, it would put extra pressure and torque on the knee, which is what we are trying to avoid. Next step would be to try to get the second leg into half lotus also.
Okay, does it matter which one?
Well, no, I mean, so typically we do the right leg first in Ashtanga, but I think it's sometimes a really good idea to switch it up actually.
I do too, I agree.
So
otherwise you feel like there's so much pressure on your shins the other way, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So half lotus the way she just did, and then go ahead and this one's a little bit trickier, but look how she opens it out to the side. So it's the femur bone's kind of moving out laterally, but the knee joint is still closed, which is important to point out. And then she slides it up she has